Welcome back to a new you self-care podcast. I know it's been a little while since I have done this podcast, and it kind of plays into the idea of our topic today about how to create your own self-care ritual. I basically, to be honest, had to take time for myself to do some self-care. I was doing a lot of things between my job, my business, my family, and everything else, and I was forgetting to do my ritual. And that's one of the more important things to me in my life is trying to stay on a schedule, not a rigid schedule, but just on a schedule to where I enjoy my day. I set myself up for success every morning. I do assessments, evaluations, reflections in the evening, and I hadn't been doing that. So what I've done over the last couple of weeks is just think about what it is that I really want to focus on. Making sure I don't do my job after hours and making sure I do my work, and limiting and setting boundaries, saying no that I can't do things at certain times because maybe it's time for me to do self-care with taking care of myself and spending it with my partner. It may be that I just need to take a nap and recharge. So I thought, well, this is kind of a perfect topic to talk about tonight. So what we're going to do is talk about how to create your own self-care ritual. Now, this is the thing. Whenever we start talking about rituals, people think that it has to be the same thing every single day. And it doesn't. Listen to your body each morning. You may feel like getting up in the morning and running. You may get up and feel like just sitting there and having a cup of coffee at the table. That may be part of your ritual, just sitting there and journaling, doing something focusing on your intention for the day. Many times people like to meditate in the morning and set their intention for the day and actually play out their day in their head, especially if they feel like they're going to have a tough meeting or something's going on that day, and just try to work out scenarios, not worry or stress, but just to try to problem solve so that they give their best in or if or when those situations arise. But what I want you to think about is, can you spare 5 minutes? This could be 5 minutes in the morning. This could be 5 minutes in the evening. That's all you have to do to start out is just 5 minutes. So think about that. You're going to be spending more than 5 minutes listening to this podcast. This may be part of your self-care. It doesn't have to be 2 hours of luxurious spa days, but it can. It doesn't have to be saved for special days, but you can do special self-care those days as well. What I want you to do right now is to think about when you can spare 5 minutes. Those dishes will be there later. The housework can be done. Wake up 5 minutes before your family does, and I know I love to sleep in, but sometimes 5 minutes extra in the morning really does recharge me and help me be a happier person in the morning. I'm not a morning person, so it does help me to not be so grumpy in the morning. So think, 5 minutes. After this podcast, I'm going to spend 5 minutes, maybe 15, just kind of reflecting for the day. And then before I go to bed, I journal each night. So I want you to think about this. Write down some 5-minute times. Go ahead. And I'll give you a few moments to do that. Okay. Now what I want you to do is make a list of things that make you happy or that you want to incorporate into your rituals. I'll give you some ideas. I like just sitting and listening to music for a few moments. Music is mood for me. Happy music, celebratory music, even sometimes sad music. Maybe journaling in the morning. A to-do list even counts as journaling. And when we do a journaling podcast, we'll explain that a little bit more. Maybe meditation. And this doesn't mean you have to be sitting like you see everyone in Sukhasana or easy seated pose and sitting there stiff. You may do meditation as you're lying down in the bed, maybe while you're in the bath relaxing, maybe just while you're sitting on the couch. Meditation is simple. It is not clearing your mind. It's just bringing your mind into yourself, bringing yourself some attention. We'll talk about that more in some of the later podcasts. Affirmations are another part. Things like, I am powerful. Even I am happy. A good one for those of you who are parents. I am patient. Doing affirmations and tacking them throughout the day, maybe on your microwave or on your refrigerator or your mirror. That's really good. Just kind of saying, I want to better myself. I want to say something positive to myself. You may do yoga, and it doesn't have to be twisty, turny, gymnastics yoga. It could be yoga nidra, where it's a meditation where you go into a deep sleep-like status. It could be restorative or chair or yin. It just depends upon what your body needs. You may go for a walk or a run. You may work out. You may do some breath work or some reading. These are all different situations that you can do to incorporate in your ritual. Now, this is the key. Listen to your body. Don't think that you're being lazy because you don't feel like working out in the morning. Your body may need to stretch. And whether you call it yoga or not, that's okay. Or you may put on a dance video, an aerobic video workout, and just dance for a few minutes in the morning and get yourself going. Get those joints loosened up, get that body loosened up and go. And you don't have to be rigid. Now, what I do find is if before I go to sleep at night, as I journal, if I make a possibility of what I want to do the next morning. Now, that doesn't mean that I stick to it 100%. That just means that I prepare. Okay? I prepare for the next day so that I cannot get out of that situation. So if I make a plan, then I have to stick to it. And this plan may be 5 minutes walking. I may get up the next morning and go, okay, I'm not walking anywhere. I'm going to sit on this couch and meditate because it is raining outside. You can hear the rain right now. So I'm going to stay inside. But that's okay. You may decide that you want to sit on the porch with a cup of coffee. That is okay. So all these different ways are to help you. It's different energy that comes to you, different energy that comes from you. Just pick what you feel that your mind, your body, and your soul needs that day. If you are spiritual or religious, take out the book or the Bible or your sacred text, whatever it is that you read, and read some for a moment and journal and write some thoughts on that. Sit in prayer or meditation. That is self-care as well. But don't settle. Don't just go, okay, I'm going to do this because I have to do yoga every morning and this is what everybody else does. No, that's not what you do. You sit there and you think about what you want, okay? Find some aromatherapy, something that smells good. If you like candles or oils or sage or diffuser, something that makes you feel special. Find a notebook that you like to journal on. Or maybe if you don't like to write and you like to use your iPad or laptop, have it near you. That is nothing wrong to journal on a laptop. This kind of helps you be more comfortable because you're not changing your true nature. If your true nature is techie stuff like me, I love it. I love journaling on a computer, but I also like to journal on paper because I can squiggle and write. So some of the things you can do for journaling is just free-form journaling. Just write whatever you think. Today is a rainy day. The grass looks like it's burnt outside, and I'm so glad that it's getting some fresh water. An intention journaling. Well, today I want to set my intention to follow up with everything that I have planned with what is good for my higher self. I want to make sure I spend time with my loved ones and spend time for myself. You can do a to-do journal, a work to do, and a house to do. I found that when I have a to-do list, I am so satisfied to mark that off, and I'm just so happy. Even if it's the tiniest one, I kind of start out with the tiniest projects, and then I'm like, yay, I got one done. It took me a whole minute. Let's start again. And it's just a lot of fun like that. So maybe to-do journals. Now, some people say that to-do journals make them nervous because there's all these to-do lists, then don't put them all together. Just put one on a page and look at it and see that you do it and go, yay, you did it. And then if you want to flip over and do the next one, that's fine. But find what works for you. Release any expectations of what it's going to be. You're not going to look like the person on the computer or on the TV that are doing these perfect yoga or meditation or journaling things. It's okay. Find your true heart. Find your soul while you are doing this. Release expectations. You may just decide to lay in bed and that be your ritual space. Now, that ritual space may not be perfect when your partner is snoring or rolling over or something like that, but think about what and where you feel comfortable. So let's review how to create your own self-care ritual. Just decide to do it. Don't be rigid. Listen to your body, your mind, and your soul for what you want to do. Start out with just 5 minutes. And if you want to add more, that's perfect. You may do 5 minutes for a day. You may do 5 minutes for a month. Depends upon what you need. But remember, if you're taking care of other people, you have to help yourself first. Otherwise, you can't help them. You have to think about, are you a morning or evening person? I can do more journaling in the morning and more movement at night. My joints are I'm old, so my joints are kind of like sore and creaky. So by the end of the night, I can do a little bit more. Maybe in the afternoon. Sometimes at lunch, I sit in meditation. I shut my door and I just sit there and just quiet everything. I play some music that I like. It doesn't even have to be meditation music. It can be, oh my, with 80s rock. That is me. And that's my jam, and that will get me going, especially if I'm in a bad mood or I'm sad. And that's what self-care is. It's what makes your body, your mind, your soul happy. Think about a lot of the things you like to do. I love to read. I don't read enough. I have 1,000 books here, and I don't take time to read, and that's on my next to-do list. Now, we're going to talk about in the next podcast about barriers. Is there a specific spot, or do you have a place to do this? Are you more groggy in the morning? What about if you travel? Or what about if your partner and family really doesn't support you? What can you do? So tune in next time for us to talk about barriers to taking care of yourself or your self-care ritual. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I would love to hear from you all at anewyourselfcare@gmail.com. and learn what your self-care ritual is. Maybe what it started out as and how it ended. Now remember to go to my link tree at A New You Self-Care. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those, but mostly Instagram and Facebook for A New You Self-Care. And try to just say hello, pop in, and just let me know, share, because what happens is if you share your self-care ritual, then there's accountability. So I have to kind of go, hey, did you do your self-care today? And I will do that. So pop in the group, pop in the page, pop in on Instagram and say hello. So this is Bertina with A New You Self-Care. I hope you have a wonderful day and you find the new you that you are searching for.